Hey y'all, it's your girl Gemini Jazz with House of Chiron, and we are back for another episode of Galactic Gossip. So this week is going to be some heavy, crazy, transformative stuff popping off. We have two retrogrades and a eclipse that is happening. So yeah, just buckle up. So, without further ado, I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for tuning in and watching the weekly. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. And if you are a returning person, viewer, family member, because that's what I consider y'all, welcome back. It is a new week. So really quick announcement. We still have tickets available for the Trauma Conscious Yoga Full Moon Healing Circle that is occurring on the full moon on the 26th. So you do not want to miss this. If you need that information, if you would like to register, go ahead and hit that description box below. And then also the Celestial City membership is still open, and you can find all that information in the description box below. Okay. All right. So let's get it popping, talking about this energy. So we're going to cover the week of May 23rd all the way to the end of the month, right? So until like the 31st. Starting off this week, we have on the 23rd, Saturn is stationing retrograde at 13 degrees in Aquarius. So it's going to be retrograde for about 4.5, 5 months. So from May 23rd all the way through October 11th of this year, 2021. And so this is going to be like a time of recalibrating the scales, the karmic scales, because, Saturn rules karma. And so the work that we have previously been putting in while Saturn has been direct, we will be rewarded during the retrograde period. So it's like if you've been really focusing and putting your work in and doing the things that you need to do, what you are being called to do, then you'll start seeing some manifestations and some rewards from those things. Now, if you've been lazy and you ain't been doing the work, because Saturn is all about that work, then you're going to get the karma from that as well. So just keep that in mind, that Saturn is the Lord of karma. He's also, Saturn is also, the ruler of restriction, father time, work ethic, determination, also your drive. I like to call him Big Daddy Saturn because Saturn gives lifelong gifts. So Saturn rules all structures in our lives, from like actual buildings to the structures of society, the designs of society. So keeping that in mind, it's all about a literal structure. It could even be politics. That's a structure. So the previous Saturn retrograde that we had occurred the spring of 2020. So this was last year this time. And so during that time, it retreated back into the sign of Capricorn. So this one is the first one where Saturn retrograde is happening in the middle degree of Aquarius. So it's at 13 degrees, and it always retreats backwards to about 6 or 7 degrees. So it's going to wrap up at 6 degrees in Aquarius. So it's not retrograding back into Capricorn. So that energy is going to be completely different. We will be tested on the commitments that we have made during this time, the structures that we've created, and the foundations that we have set over this entire year since the last time it went retrograde. So these tests are encouraging us to go within and ask those essential questions that will determine our next steps. So do we really desire these current commitments that we have, just really been focusing on? Do we really desire these things? So you will be tested on that. All these things are going to come up for us during this retrograde period. So the remainder of 2021, the focus is really on determining what we are fueling and if these things bring any progress or any potential to our lives at all. Being open to the possibility that the things that we thought we believed in, the things that we thought we wanted, or the things that we thought we desired, that might be altered during this time, because it's calling us to flow with the change over the next 6 months, the remaining 6 months or so of 2021. So Also, keeping in mind that Saturn will go retrograde while it is making that square to Uranus and Taurus. So that's bringing forth a challenge with those changes. Uranus is all about change. Uranus is all about something unexpected. It's also about liberation and freedom. It's about being original, right? So still with the trines that it's making, because not only is it having that square to Uranus and Taurus, but it's also making a trine to the moon that's in Libra, and also a trine to Venus and the North Node that's all in Gemini. So that's creating a grand trine aspect. And so that's providing us and giving us everything that we need in order to overcome those challenges and, the challenge to change or to go with the flow. Now is not the time to be attempting to force the change that we desire, right? Like really trying to force any agenda, trying to push any initiative that's just not working. If you're hitting a brick wall, it means it's not supposed to be. Like just try another avenue, go another route, because it's showing you these things for a reason. So it's really a call to be more so like to adapt to the changes that are being presented to us and going with that flow instead of trying to force the way that we want things to be. We can also see this as a significant reactivation of what we committed to previously and what we desired previously, merging that Aquarian energy, because that Aquarian energy is all about alchemizing something as well. So once the things that we once wondered, the things that we once desired, is being, it's more so like a merging of what we once wanted and what we are being asked of presently, what we are desiring presently. So merging those two energies at the same time. And so also another aspect of this is about the emotional addictions that might come with this, right? So emotional addictions could be released over the next 4 to 5 months with this retrograde, because it's happening during Cancer season. So this retrograde is going to really get in that momentum of being in that backward motion during Cancer season, which is the opposite season of Capricorn. So that is all about, let's put this in like a metaphorical thing. So Cancer is all about the home, the foundation, but it's more so about the emotional connection to those things, the things that make you feel safe. It's about that security. Whereas Capricorn is the actual walls, it's the actual wood, it's the fibers of that. So what is it that this house is built with? What is this house built out of? That kind of energy. So when you have those emotional addictions, because that's that Cancer energy is about the emotions. So those certain emotional addictions might be released over the next 4 to 5 months during this retrograde. So if you have been entertaining drama or any other emotions as a means to escape from responsibility, because we do have Jupiter in Pisces, and that's that Piscean energy of escapism. So if you have been using that as a means to escape from responsibility, either something that's going to inspire you or something that's going to inhibit you, some type of experience will come to the surface, and that's going to encourage a reconfiguration and all of these things. So it's vital for us during this time, because of that Aquarian energy and then Uranus being in Taurus, it's vital for us to really work on our nervous systems and tap in, keeping that unique sense of calm that we all have within us. Also, Gemini rules the nervous system just as well as Aquarius does. So we have the North Node in Gemini, we have Venus in Gemini, we have Mercury in Gemini. Mercury is going retrograde during this time as well. So we're going to get into that in a moment. So just keeping in mind that, our nervous systems could be really triggered. So, things that previously like even brought on anxiety may come undone during this time as we embrace the new ways of tapping into our unique sense of calm and safety, that Cancerian energy. So the safety that we desire will require for us to come up with a reestablishment of internal and external boundaries, right? Because that Cancer energy is about what makes you safe. It's about developing the boundary in order to have that foundation. And that Capricorn energy, that Saturn, that Saturnian energy is all about the structure, which is also a boundary. Okay, so keep in mind that this is going to be occurring for the next 4.5 to 5 months. So, yep, I wish you well on that one. It's going to be a wild ride. All right, so shortly after we have Saturn going retrograde, we have our total lunar eclipse that is happening at 5 degrees in Sagittarius. And we all know number 5 represents some positive change and transformation that's occurring. So with Sagittarius, Sagittarius is the ruling sign, or it's ruled by Jupiter. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and it's all about the philosophies, the beliefs, the path. It's higher education, it's our consciousness. It also rules religion, our morals and ethics. So something is definitely culminating during this time. So the Sagittarius full moon is going to encourage us a release of beliefs that's living within our shadows that no longer align to our present realities, right? So that moon is here, and it's going to really shine a light on all those shadow energies, right? That bringing them out from the darkness into the light. And it's a full blood moon eclipse, and it's called that because of that reddish tint that it takes on with the illumination of the sun and it being a total lunar eclipse. So Sagittarius represents our path, like I mentioned before. It's our beliefs, it's our higher consciousness. Like I said, also the morals, our ethics. So it's the path in life, and it's going to really highlight where it is that you are in your path that you are destined to go. Like, where are you currently in your journey? So we might be experiencing a test of our faith with this illumination of the moon. So keep in mind, the ruling planet of Sagittarius has recently moved into Pisces. So this is a very spiritual energy, very spiritual, asking us to tap into our creativity, tap into the things that are unseen, tap into spirituality, tap into that other realm, right? And so this moon is going to be squaring Jupiter in Pisces. So this is something that is highlighted. It's highlighting where have we been overindulging, or where have we been encouraging redundancy in our lives, right? So typically a Jupiter square to the moon is not a challenging aspect because it encourages like socializing and connecting and just an overall feeling of like comfort and goodness and all that good stuff. But because this is an eclipse, and it's eclipses are faded energy, right? So this eclipse is really bringing out the negative influence and the negative qualities of that Jupiter square energy. And so Jupiter is about abundance. It's about expansion. So the negative aspect of that could be overinflation. It could be over optimism, right? So Jupiter is showing us where we have been wasteful due to that over optimism, not really paying attention to what is there. Jupiter in Pisces has some very rose-colored lens kind of energy where it's like, oh, I have enough, I can do it. But then when you do it, it's like, oh, I didn't calculate that right. That's that energy. So be very careful that you're paying attention to your finances, right? That you're paying attention to what it is that you're actually indulging in, and that you're not doing so with this over optimistic energy. Also not allowing harmful mindsets and misalignments to your moral and ethical values to, create that limitation, right? So being so wasteful, to where it's not like you're really in alignment to what it is that you desire for your life, or where it is that you're going, or your complete values, right? So we don't necessarily have to see this as a negative aspect, more so just an intense energy that's like showing us where change can bring forth freedom and a peace of mind. Because that's all about, Pisces is like, hey, we'll do what we need to do as long as you do not disrupt our peace of mind. That's that Piscean energy. So using the astrological resources that we have, like what's present, those energies that are present, to be more helpful and more compassionate to others, and also just tapping into that charitable energy that's going to assist with the power of this moon. And so, just dive in and just ask yourself certain questions. With this retrograde, am I committed to this path that I'm on? And then with this eclipse, that's happening in Sagittarius, it's even more so about your path. It's like, okay, where have I not really been paying attention to what it is that I have, my resources, and I've been wasteful, and it's keeping me, these mindsets are keeping me in this stagnant place. Okay, so something is culminating and something is definitely being released with this moon. So moving on to May the 27th, we have Venus, which is in Gemini, is going to be making a square to Neptune in Pisces. So Venus represents our self-worth And with the square to Neptune, we may create a poor self-image of ourselves. That might lead to various issues, including issues with our partners, issues with our finances, because that's Venus ruled energy. So we should be conscious of the energy that's present on May 27th, as we could really see ourselves and others with these illusionary lenses by over idealizing things or just not seeing things clearly at all, because that Neptune energy can create a cloud, right? And so Venus, it rules our finances. It also rules our partnerships. So there's a chance that we might spend our money without conscious awareness of where we're putting it, or we might even have like an opportunity to get scammed. So just be very careful, since Venus is in Gemini. Gemini rules the internet and social media. Make sure you're not just sending money to people that you don't know nothing about, because on this day you could get scammed. And also we're just not really paying attention or have a conscious awareness of our actual financial position. Also, any unhealthy relationship with our self-worth will directly reflect in our net worth, as well as our relationships with others. It's going to come up to the surface. So these things come to the surface just so we can see where there's some change that's needed, where there's some kind of shifting that needs to occur. Something needs to be released, right? And this is the day after the eclipse moon. Okay, so then moving on to the 29th, we have Mercury that is in Gemini. It's going to make a conjunction with Venus, also in Gemini at 24 degrees. So this is energy that's about speaking from your heart, right? And Mercury conjunct Venus is a transit that's all about telling your true feelings and using that eloquent speech to experience what's in your immediate environment and within your communities. Mercury rules our communication styles and our perceptions that we develop through the connection to our immediate environments. So we may really receive some correspondence on this day. We might even receive like some money through the mail. So just keep that in mind. You might even be feeling really generous and lovely and artistic on this day. So it wouldn't be a surprise to create a nice gift for someone, or, just to show your feelings, or write a nice poem, anything like that. Make a painting, because Venus is all about art as well, and beauty. So keep that in mind. And Mercury is about writing and information. So this doesn't have to indicate a romantic relationship either. It could be just like an excellent time to connect with your siblings, or even those friends that you see as siblings, because Gemini in the third house rules siblings as well. Okay, so moving on. The very last thing I'm going to talk about, Mercury station in retrograde at 24 degrees in Gemini. Okay, so the retrograde period goes from May 29th all the way through June 22nd. So Mercury is going to have an extended stay in its home sign in Gemini. So it will move out of Gemini July 11th when it moves into Cancer. So it's going to be in Gemini. Mercury will be in Gemini from now until June 22nd. Excuse me, July 11th. I'm losing my mind. Okay, so Mercury in Gemini is really sociable. Mercury in Gemini seeks information. It loves to have ideas and share its ideas. So back into it, sorry about that. So Mercury will make, let me see, where was I at? Okay, so Mercury in Gemini, sociable energy. I had to put it on pause because, as y'all know, my life is in a transformation itself, right? So I'm having to find places where I can actually do my recordings and my videos. And so I get interrupted all day. So I appreciate y'all being here. Anywho, so let's get back into this Mercury retrograde. So Mercury in Gemini is sociable, right? It loves to, like I said, seek information and share ideas, and it comes up with so many ideas. So Mercury is at home in Gemini, so it's happy, it's comfortable, it's chilling. And so this is giving us like mental energy that's necessary to create new connections, because Gemini, what people really don't discuss is that Gemini is about relating, right? So it's like, how do you relate to the environment? How do you relate to your community? How do you relate to others? So it's also that relating experience. And so It's also like, that mental energy that you need to make those new connections, also to set plans in motion and to develop new ideas. And so now all of this beautiful mental energy that we have is going to be retreating inward for us to review, revamp, and rebrand anything that needs a bit of tweaking, right? And so Mercury has been in its shadow phase since about May 14th, giving us a preview of what is to come under under this retrograde period. So if you've been noticing that, you've been having some mishaps in communication, information has been just kind of getting lost in the wind, that's because that shadow phase is kind of gearing up. So like I always say, I have a blog on my website. You can go read. It kind of gives you these tips from a Gemini. I'm heavily ruled by Mercury. So gives you tips from a Gemini on how to survive Mercury retrograde. I know Mercury has become very popular recently. And so it's really not a harmful thing unless you are lacking the awareness of what's going on. And that's really what Mercury is all about. And Mercury retrograde is all about heightening your awareness, making sure that you are paying attention to the things. Also, it's about, developing perceptions and showing you, certain things that could be adjusted or changed, or how can you develop or adopt a new perception about something, right? So Mercury will make its second square to Neptune, because it made the first square on May 22nd. And the second one is going to come on about June the 5th. And then the third square that it makes to Neptune will be July 6th. So Mercury makes its second square to Neptune, but it's going to be a little different because the first one was, when Mercury first moved into Gemini shortly after. And now this one is going to be, the second one is going to be under the retrograde this go round. So it's just going to be a little different as the first pass. There's going to be a lack of clarity, surrounding communications with others, but even more so on an internal level. There also might be some type of clarity that comes up or comes forth that brought on confusion from the first Mercury Neptune square. So especially with the sun making that conjunction with Mercury retrograde on the day of the Gemini solar eclipse that occurs June 10th. So there could be something that just really culminates, some information that comes through that provides clarity on that day. But leading up to all this energy, there might be some things that get lost in the wind, like I said. So keep that in mind. All right, so we survived the galactic gossip with minimal interruption. So thank y'all once again. Also, make sure you check the description box below, get all the information, sign up for all the things, register for all the things. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. Yeah, and I want y'all to have a wonderful, wonderful week. Make sure you are breathing, okay? Like it's fine. People are kind of like losing it, but it's going to be fine. Gemini season is a wonderful time to journal and write and dive into your creative pursuits. Whatever it is that you have that's creative, dive into it and use that as a healing thing, especially during the Mercury retrograde. Write in your journal. Get all your thoughts out on paper. So, all right, y'all go on and have a wonderful week. I see y'all next week. Bye.